why investing in US chip makers today might make all the difference in your portfolio. Stay tuned. You really don't want to miss this one. Hey guys, today we have a very important video that I think is very important, because I think we are in a good position still to take advantage of what's going on with chip makers in the US and around the globe, because it's not only a US problem. The reason why I'm so interested in this is because if you've been following us along, you've been finding out that we've been talking about stuff, and sometimes we talk about stuff before it actually happens. So we like to connect the dots, as we say, and we like to put stuff together before it happens. And right now I'm thinking about investing more into something that I think is going to be, it's already changed the world, but it's going to start affecting us even more. I'm talking about, US chip makers. That includes companies like Intel, AMD, Marvell, and a SPAC as well, ACEV. Those are just some of the many that there is, but those are the more known companies. And the reason why they came across to me, and I've done more research on these companies, is because Joe Biden came out and spoke about saying that we're having an issue with chip manufacturers. They're behind due to the pandemic and other stuff. They're just behind. But I think there's more to that. I think the main reason why they're behind is because the demand has really exploded. I want you guys to think ahead of what's going to happen, and hopefully this video gives you that information, okay? So you guys could go ahead and think ahead of what's the next step in line. We're going to start off with what Biden had to say, and please follow along. And I think it's very important you stay to the end, because at the end we're going to connect all this together and see what we can put together with this. Biden came out saying Biden team pledges aggressive steps to address chip shortage in the markets. And I'm gonna read off this article to you, okay? The Biden administration working to address the global semiconductor shortage that has caused production halts in U.S. industries, including autos. White House Press Secretary Jen Psaki said the administration is identifying choke points in supply chains and discussing an immediate path forward with businesses and trading partners, Psaki told reporters. The White House. In the long term, policymakers are looking for a comprehensive strategy to avoid bottlenecks and other issues the semiconductor industries have been facing for years, okay? President Joe Biden is expected to sign, read this, President Joe Biden is expected to sign an executive order directing a government-wide supply chain review for critical goods in coming weeks, with the chip shortage a central concern behind the probe. The order will compel a 100-day review led by the National Economic Council and National Security. Now, what caught my attention and why I invested today heavier and I went in more on this company is this one right here. U.S. chips industry urges Biden to support domestic production. And there was a couple of CEOs that reached out to Biden. On Thursday, chief executive officers of chip companies including Intel Corp, Qualcomm, and Advanced Micro Devices Inc. wrote the president urging him to support domestic production and stop the country from losing its edge in innovation. Stop the country from losing its edge in innovation. I think as Biden steps in, he's going to open up the doors more for these companies to be able to flourish. Now, how did we get to this point? I'm going to read this off to you. I want you guys to look at this chart, okay? And in this chart, it goes back for about 20 years, okay? And 20 years ago, you would see the internet users per 100 inhabitants. And the purple line here is the developed world, okay? Global and developing world, okay, are way down here. Now, when this started back in 2000, we were right around here, okay? It went up, it increased, okay? And it plateaued somewhere around 2006 a little bit. And from 2006 forward, technology has increased dramatically. And this chart here only goes up to 2018, guys. What happened after that? If you think these numbers are pretty amazing, and just by looking at the line, they are pretty amazing. They're going up significantly year after year. What happened last year with the pandemic, you could only expect for these trends to continue on an upward slope. And if we are still not convinced by watching that and seeing how much of a demand chips are going to be needed now, we went from the 2000s, where not everybody had a cell phone, to everybody, the grandma, the kids, the everybody has a cell phone now. And cell phones are constantly made. These companies that are producing these chips, like I just mentioned, are going to be needed not only now, but in years to come. And I think right now is the perfect time, if you're not invested, okay, to invest in these companies. I think the growth is tremendous for these companies. And I think we haven't really, I mean, we've seen it, but I don't think we've kind of looked at it as serious as this, where there's a chip shortage. And what happens if you're in business? What happens when you have low supply and high demand? There's only one thing that happens, guys. You see, low supply and high demand equals higher prices. Guys, I think these companies are going to explode pretty soon. I think they're going to go up a lot. I think they're going to be needed for 20. I could only imagine this chart 20 years from now. And something that caught my eye is down here, internet users by region. And this is going back to 2005, guys. 2005, Africa only had a 2% of its population being able to use the internet. 2010, 10%. 2017, 21%. 2019, only 28%, guys. Only 28%. That means a quarter of their population is barely getting in touch with the internet, is barely getting in touch with the cell phone, is barely doing that. Now you can go down the list and you could see a fairly similar, story being told here. That as you go along from 2005, 10, 17, 19, and now, I could only imagine it's exploded, and we're still only about 50% of the world being on the internet. I want you guys to really take that in mind, keep that in mind, because it's very important that you guys, when you guys invest in a company, you see the long-term growth of the company, okay? Now, I'm invested in Intel in my long-term portfolio, and I'm looking to invest in all of these other ones right now as well, okay? Something very important. Last thing I want to read off to you. I know I'm doing a lot of reading, but I think it's well worth it. This information, I think, is well worth it. Did you ever wonder how many computers and computing devices there are in the world? According to Gartner research, there were 2 billion PCs in the world as of 2007. And this figure did not include handheld devices like tablets and smartphones, okay? If you move forward in time 7 years to 2014, the number of connected computing devices exceeded the global population for the first time in history. This is in 2007. This is kind of where it plateaued a little bit, okay? The number of computing devices in use continues to rise to this day, where there are estimated to be about 8 billion and counting, according to GSMA intelligence. Guys, I don't know what else I can tell you. I am going to provide these links below so you guys could do your own research, do your own due diligence. But guys, I think investing in Intel is a great opportunity right now, because if we look at this chart, just the last month, okay, it went up, shot up all the way up to $62. They got their new executive in, their new CEO, Bob Swan. They got him in. He's in the helm now, okay? It came crashing down all the way to back to 53. And now since then, since January 27th, this stock has been rising steadily. And if you look at today's chart, today's Thursday, okay? It started at 59 and it ended up at 60, 68, which was about a 3% increase, okay? What do you think is going to happen next when Biden signs the whatever he's going to pass into law, helping these companies out, pushing them to provide more chips for the US? Guys, prices going up, okay? Today we went ahead and we bought 41 contracts on Intel. We bought them a little bit out, 312 next month. But you can still buy these contracts, and there's still plenty of opportunity. But you got to think fast, guys. You got to think fast, and that's what this video was meant for you to get informed, get the information, and then take it with you as you please. You could decide on saying, you know what, I'll skip this and invest later, or you could actually take advantage of it and invest now and watch that money grow for you. The whole point to everything that I do is to try to think ahead of what's going to happen next. And I think this is the next big thing. So guys, with that, I'm going to let you guys go. I want to please ask you guys, if you found anything on this video that was informative, helped you out, please like and subscribe to the channel. And I'm also going to tell you again, if you guys want the latest information, the plays that we're doing on a daily basis, subscribe at our Twitter at investingog, and you can get the latest, all the information our team gets, we put it out for you, okay? So with that, guys, thank you very much for staying tuned, and I'll see you on the next one.